This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Before I get to talking about Tucker Carlson and his inviting a virulent white supremacist, white nationalist, former Trump speechwriter, Darren Beattie, on his show, I want to talk about these shirts. I finally got them in, and I want to invite you to help support the show by buying one. We are attending, the team, myself, my wife, we are attending the Poor People's and Low Wage Workers Assembly and Moral March on Washington and to the polls on June 18th, this next coming weekend. And I had these shirts, this one and Poverty is a Public Policy Choice. I had these made in support of that march and that movement. And a great way to support the channel is by picking one up for yourself or as a gift for someone. I'll put a link in the description, maybe pin a comment at the top of this video. I appreciate your support. Now let's move on, talk about Tucker Carlson. During the January 6th House Select Committee investigating the insurrection, every network carried it. PBS and NBC and CBS, ABC, CNN, MSNBC, all of the networks, many networks covered this thing live because it's that important. Because this is about an existential threat to our very democracy. This is about whether or not we're going to have a country come 2022 or 2024. It is not a Hollywood spectacle. It's not a highly produced, slick piece of propaganda. They showed the video. I've yet to see, and I'll talk about this, I've yet to see anybody who's saying, oh, it's all a bunch of lies, identify one single lie that was told. One single piece of misinformation or even bending of the truth. And Fox News was the only network to not cover this last night. In fact, not only did they not cover it, during Tucker Carlson's show, he ran an hour without commercials. He ran his entire program so afraid that people would click over and watch some of the hearing during one of his commercial breaks that he just didn't have commercials. That's the level of craven dishonesty and sinister motives that these people have. They didn't want to see the white nationalism on full display, the white supremacy, the garden variety dum-dum Donald Trump sycophant. They didn't want you to see the violence. They didn't want you to hear about the 7-part criminal conspiracy with Donald Trump at the top of the pyramid that was undertaken to try to overthrow the United States government. The failed coup attempt. They don't want you to know that. So not only did he not run commercials, he opened his show with this. I'm going to play this, and then we're going to talk about one of the guests that he had on, who was fired from the Trump administration for attending a white nationalist conference. He is a white supremacist, and I'll show you some tweets that he was tweeting during the insurrection to prove it. First, here was Tucker's opening of his show.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson. It tells you a lot about the priorities of our ruling class that the rest of us are getting yet another lecture about January 6th tonight from our moral inferiors, no less. An outbreak of mob violence, a forgettably minor outbreak by recent standards that took place more than a year and a half ago, but they've never stopped talking about it. In the meantime, in the 18 months since January 6th, gas prices have doubled. Drug ODs have reached their highest point ever. The U.S. economy is now careening toward a devastating recession at best. And scariest and least noted of all, this country has never in its history been closer to a nuclear war. Yet the other networks cannot be bothered to cover any of that tonight. Instead, they've interrupted their regularly scheduled programming to bring you yet another extended primetime harangue from Nancy Pelosi and Liz Cheney about Donald Trump and QAnon. The whole thing is insulting. In fact, it's deranged, and we're not playing along. This is the only hour on an American news channel that will not be carrying their propaganda live. They are lying, and we are not going to help them do it. What we will do instead is to try to tell you the truth. We've attempted to do that since the day this happened. We hated seeing vandalism at the U.S. Capitol a year and a half ago, and we said so at the time. But we did not think it was an insurrection because it was not an insurrection. It was not even close to an insurrection.
There is a lot to talk about there. One, he's saying that they're lying. Notice, he doesn't say what they're lying about, because he's a liar. He's a projection artist. There were no lies, and if there were, it would be easy to point one out. Just one, Tucker. Just one. You coward. You weakling. You soft-skinned, smooth-brained haircut. Gross. A lecture from our moral inferiors. So Tucker Carlson is holding himself up as some kind of a paragon of morality, who is sweeping the nation with lies and conspiracy theories about the white replacement theory, the great replacement theory. A white supremacist conspiracy theory that used to be 20, 30 years ago talked about in silence or in quiet whispers among white supremacist communities. But because Donald Trump has given everyone permission to be as racist as they want to be, publicly, Tucker Carlson has taken that upon himself to continue on with. The lying, grifting, charlatan, white supremacist Tucker Carlson. And indeed, last night, during the evidence display from the January 6th Select Committee, he had on Darren Beattie. Darren Beattie used to work for the Trump administration. He was fired for attending a white nationalist conference. And I want to show some tweet. Let's put in perspective who he is. I'm not going to play a clip because it's all just nonsense and more conspiracy theories about the government trying to take control of people through the Homeland Security and making illegal certain groups. It's all just it's a bit much. But these are tweets that this particular individual was tweeting during the insurrection that all target black people in America. Individual black Americans, telling them they need to bow their knee to MAGA. First, we will show you this tweet. Darren Beattie talking about Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter must take a knee to MAGA. They must learn their place. Learn their place. Look, Black Lives Matter, Black America, learn your place. You need to bow the knee to make America great again. The racist, white supremacist movement. Here's another one. Ibram X. Kendi needs to learn his place and take a knee to MAGA. Learn his proper role in our society. Tweeting this while the insurrection was taking place. Ibram X. Kendi, of course, famously wrote How to Be an Anti-Racist and stamped from the beginning. And this jerk-off is tweeting to exclusively black folks about bending the knee to MAGA. Here's another one. Kay Cole James of the Heritage Foundation, the former president of the Heritage Foundation, a conservative woman, a Republican woman. He's telling Kay Cole James of Heritage Foundation needs to learn her natural place and take a knee to MAGA. And Tucker Carlson gives this doofus airtime, this dangerous piece of trash. And then finally ending with Tim Scott, another Republican. Tim Scott, senator for South Carolina, black senator from South Carolina, needs to learn his place and take a knee to MAGA. So Tucker Carlson won't play on his show the historical event of these hearings outlining the concerted criminal conspiracy to overthrow the United States government by overturning a free and fair election. He won't do that. He won't even run commercials. He's so afraid people will watch it. But he will have a white supremacist trash human on his show to talk about his theories. And Fox News still allows him to have a job. Gross, racist, vile, sinister. What do you think? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, absolutely, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. I appreciate your time and attention. If you would like to support my work, one way, as I mentioned at the top of the show, you could get one of these shirts. There'll be a link in the description. The other one is Poverty is a Public Policy Choice, things I've been talking about on this channel for a long time and even longer on my podcast, which is called I Doubt It, which you should also subscribe to. Another way to support my work, if you appreciate what I do, is to click the join button below this video. Become a channel member for as little as $1.99 a month, or go over to patreon.com/I Doubt It podcast. Both those are great ways to support and produce my content. I love you guys. Follow me on social media. I'm at Dollemore just about everywhere. Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I'll see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.